Hey everyone, Matthew here from Mac Museum, coming to you with a little story about the huge day I had the other day when I was able to pick up over 30 new Macs for the collection, some of which I don't yet have on display, so I was pretty excited about that. I've put this video together to show you what I got. Come and check it out. So very importantly, started out by removing the batteries with my friend Justin last night to make sure we weren't going to have any disasters, and I'm excited to say that none of the machines I picked up had any battery damage, which was quite significant. To start off, these Mac Classics, which have some evidence of leaky capacitors on their boards. You can see where the dust has settled and kind of been able to absorb some of that capacitor juice. This one's pretty bad, so those will need to head into the ultrasonic cleaner. Haven't gotten as far as inspecting the analog boards or power boards on these, but those ones will need to be cleaned up and recapped. These machines down here, as you can see some of the notes, the Quadra and the Centris were great pickups. I didn't have the 660 AV of either of those. Unfortunately, the clip did break on the Quadra when I was removing the battery, despite being incredibly gentle as I was trying to get the case open. And this 6100 down here, you'll see I've labeled, has some rodent damage. The DOS compatible card had been removed and the gap left looked like it made enough room for a mouse to squeeze in there and left some evidence that they'd been living in there for a little while. I've got a full set of LCs that were sort of an instant LC family to pick up, and then some Power Macs and a Duodock. Coming over here, one last machine in this area was this beautiful 9500 120. Unfortunately needs a new CD bezel at the front, which is not unusual for these. But again, thankfully no battery damage in any of those. Coming around here, we have some 5XXX series Power Macs. I know these are really unloved. A lot of people don't really find them very special or very interesting. I was grateful that there was a black one in the collection, which is great. You can see the black one's obviously aged a lot better than the beige. I don't think I would ever bother retrobrighting these ones in particular. They are creaking and cracking as you pick them up. Not physically cracking, they're actually not too bad, but you can hear the plastics don't have much life left in them. There was a bit of a chip on one of the bases there on this Performer model. I'm actually curious to find out a little bit more about these. Again, pretty unloved, but I would still be curious to know if Apple spent any time looking at things like improving the speakers as they went through the different models. We know that the PowerPC processors in them were a bit lackluster, and the CRTs themselves, they're not Trinitrons, so they don't look as sharp as some of the other models do. But anyway, we'll have a look at them. I haven't tested those just yet. Multiple scan display here with an unfortunate damage to the speaker, and this one does have a bit of cracking at the top. So yeah, that one's probably not got too much life left in it. This one here was a fantastic pickup, the Power Mac G3, which goes really nicely with this first generation 15-inch studio display, which was the first model that Apple brought out with the DB15 connection for the beige Macs at the time. I was really happy to be able to add this one in because I think they go really nicely together, despite the fact the color scheme doesn't quite match, but Apple was obviously in the early days of working out what they wanted to do with these translucent plastics, but really cool to have. You might have already spotted the Blue Dalmatian, which I have been hunting, so I was delighted that this was in that collection I picked up. However, I didn't get a full Blue Dalmatian, as this one doesn't have any guts, but at least I've got something nice to be able to put up on the shelf with the other machines. So I'm really happy to have picked that up. We might look at doing a transplant with another 500 megahertz iMac G3 at some point to give it some life. It's actually in really good condition. The case is not damaged, still quite shiny, so it's going to look really nice there up on the shelf. And finally, some siblings from the Dalmatian, and across here, some LC5XX models. This one in particular here, I was happy to get. It's a Performer 580. Note, it is not a 580 CD because it has no CD drive. So I've got a couple of these already. This LC575 is suffering for some nasty case damage, and the whole CRT or front panel assembly there is actually loose. So that will get transplanted into another LC575 case that I've got. The LC520 picked up another one. I actually look forward to adding that to my different variations up here. So that the Performer 580 without the CD will go nicely up there, demonstrating the front bezel without the CD slot. And lastly, this portrait display was the last item that I wanted to point out. And surprisingly, it came with the cable, with the 13-with-3 cable. So this one's had a bit of a test. It does look like it's suffering from a bit of a focus issue. So hopefully that's salvageable. The tube's not too bad in terms of its brightness, and the case itself not too bad. A little fracture up the top right-hand corner there, but overall it's all pretty neat. So all of what you're seeing there at the front is what I picked up. So all in all, a pretty good score. So as you can see, a huge number of machines there for me to go through and restore, recap, and prepare for display. Some of these will be sold to help fund the ongoing costs here at the museum, so stand by for more information about that. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of what I was able to get, and look forward to seeing you down here at the museum soon. Catch you soon.